Hi everybody, this is the baseball head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, and welcome back to the Baseball Head 3, and hopefully you like this video, and hit that subscribe button. As you know, one of the more crazy people online is the owner of Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy. He lives to fight with people, especially online, and I guess in the real world. But he's always doing something insane and crazy stuff every week. And then he wonders why people make fun of him on the street. Well, he had a meltdown, I guess, watching this Broncos Raiders game on Sunday. And he said some just insane things. And then he tried to sort of, saying it was metaphorical. It's very strange. This is from Awful Announcing. They did 2 articles on this on Monday. Dave Portnoy apoplectic over Raiders' bad beat. Quote, Pete Carroll should be in effing prison. That's the worst beat of all time. That is cheating. What the F? Now, Portnoy is a guy that is willing to hire very unhinged people for his company. Example, Frank Fleming, the anti-Met fan who hates the Mets but is a Met fan, and he's willing to throw out the first pitch at other ball clubs. But he's so unhinged that Mets owner Steve Cohen has blocked him on X. So he's willing to hire unhinged people. He's unhinged himself. This is Portnoy. Denver Broncos defeated the Las Vegas Raiders 24-17 on Sunday. At first glance, there's nothing particularly notable about that outcome. The 10-2 Broncos were overwhelmingly favorites over the 2-10 Raiders, and things played out mostly as expected. We will note, however, that the game's ending was somewhat strange. After Denver methodically took a 24-7 lead in the fourth quarter, Las Vegas scored a touchdown with a little over 2 minutes left to make it 24-14. After a Broncos drive took a minute off the clock, the Raiders got the ball back on their own 28-yard line with 58 seconds remaining. Kenny Pickett, for an injured Geno Smith, started meticulously driving the Raiders down the field as the clock ticked down. On 2nd and 10 from their own 41, Pickett completed a 26-yard pass the Tyler Lockett that put them at Denver's 33 with 8 seconds on the clock. A Broncos defender was assessing a delayed game penalty, which put the ball at the Broncos' 28-yard line. Okay. With mere seconds left on the clock and no way to affect the outcome of the game, Las Vegas sent out its field goal kicker, Daniel Carlson, who netted a 46-yard field goal as time expired, making it 24-17. Okay, what's the problem? If you're not going to throw it down, you can't win. Just, I guess get the points, I guess. The reason we brought all of that up is that a lot of people bet on the Broncos to win by 7.5 or 8.5, which means that unnecessary, meaningless field goal was a bad beat for the ages. One person who apparently had that bet was Barstool Sports' Dave Portnoy, and he was rather displeased with the situation. That's an understatement. That's an understatement if I've ever heard one. That's the worst beat of all time, said a frantic Portnoy as the end of the game played behind him. You have to investigate the Raiders. Investigate the Raiders. What are they doing? What the F? That's the worst beat of all time. That is cheating. What the F? Now this is crazy stuff that he says now. Okay. And we'll get into why this is even crazier after this. Quote, Pete Carroll should be in effing prison. Prison for Pete Carroll. The refs, everybody, this is prison. There's 16 seconds left in the game. The spread's 8.5. They spiked the ball, by the way. They ran up and spiked it. Prison Pete Carroll. Murder Pete Carroll. I want Pete Carroll murdered. Portnoy also made a separate video breaking down all the supposed shady things that happened in the final minute of the game. For what it's worth, Portnoy's not alone in his thinking. He wanted to see, other people wanted him, Pete Carroll gone. I would say this, okay, about Portnoy. He's one of these people that he sees an anti-Semite under every single rock. This is a guy that had someone arrested for saying F the Jews when he was reviewing a pizza. And a lot of people have done that. They goof on him on the street because he's such an unhinged guy that he responds to everything. And it's weird that he doesn't like that, but then has no problem saying murder Pete Carroll. Now I'm going to read you, and I guess he had his live stream. Again, from Awful Announcement, Dave Portnoy clarifies he's anti-murder. Oh, that's good. At the viral Pete Carroll rant. Quote, anybody who thought I was actually calling for him to be murdered and killed so he couldn't breathe, you misread this situation and I apologize. Oh, misrepresented it. Was this guy nuts? Dave Portnoy went viral on Sunday after he took to social media to rant about the end of the Denver Broncos' victory over the Las Vegas Raiders. But to be certain, the Barstool Sports founder doesn't actually want Pete Carroll to be murdered. Oh, really? Doesn't sound like it. Didn't sound like it. Portnoy made that much clearer during Monday's episode of Wake Up Barstool as he addressed the backlash to his rant. After reading a request for comment from a writer at Newsweek, the Boston native offered a public statement clarifying that he was merely speaking of frustration and that what he said shouldn't be taken literally. Well, people will take that literally. Gamblers that lost money will say, well, Dave Portnoy said. Quote, I would like to say this loudly, clearly, emphatically. We never want physical harm to anybody based on a decision, a play, anything. However, in the moment, you may be upset by one of the wildest sequences that cost you $250,000. So it is a metaphorical murder. It's like I would like to just scream, but we don't want harm. We don't want physical violence. We don't want threats. I disavow real violence. You do? Anybody thought I was actually calling for him to be murdered and killed so he couldn't breathe. You misread the situation. You're screaming like a lunatic. And you misread, and he's already putting the onus on the people that heard this, not on him. He says he apologizes. You misread the situation, and I apologize. No murder, no violence, just yelling. We've always been anti-murder here at Barstool. We will continue to be anti-murder. It's so ridiculous. I mean, this guy's not playing with a full deck. This guy does a lot of pot. A little schizophrenic. That's for sure. I mean, the idea that he goes through this rant and then says, well, I didn't really mean it. People that lose this kind of money will scream like this. I'd done a video on one of the producers of John Boy Media, and he wished death on a player. Okay? And that guy did it a couple of times, and he only got called out the one time. Now, he apologized. Here's the thing about people that apologize, that make fools of themselves publicly. A lot of times they don't mean it. I don't think Portnoy meant the apology. And then he put the onus on the people watching the video saying, why didn't you misread it? You misrepresented it. Murder's murder. That doesn't bother him. And people won't call him out for his hypocrisy. F the you-know-whats, F the juice, but you can't, but you could say murder somebody. That's not appropriate. Portnoy's rant came in reaction to the final moments of the Broncos-Raiders game, in which a controversial delay of game penalty allowed Las Vegas to run one final play. Despite trailing 24-14, the Raiders opted to kick a field goal as time expired, with Dan Carlson's 46-yard allowing Las Vegas to cover the 8.5-point spread and over on the 40.5 game total. In a video posted to social media, Portnoy, who apparently bet on the Broncos, decried what he claimed was the worst bad beat of all time. I don't know what bad beat means. He also called for Carroll to be in prison and murdered, a comment we can now confirm was intended to be. How do you know that? What is the metaphor? What is the imprisoned and murdered? I mean, what is the different word for that? Because a metaphor is a word for something else. So what's the word? He never explains it. And the people writing this article don't explain it either. I think they're a little afraid of Portnoy. Again, I think he does a lot of pot, and I think it makes him a little bit goofy. I think he should stick to just eating pizza and reviewing pizzas at this rate. His show is a disaster on Fox. He's not popular. This does not make him look good. Okay, and it tells you that he's got a major gambling addiction, which most of the big sports people have major gambling addictions anyway. The host denounces gambling. Okay, this is what gambling does to people. He said that he lost money, like $250,000 he's spending on a bet. This guy's got too much money on, and some people just have too much money. This is a guy that has way too much money to waste. What a waste. $250,000 on this? Well, if you like stuff on the media and stuff on anything that has anything to do with Fox Sports, WFN, CBS, ESPN, it's the channel you want to subscribe to. This channel is doing great. Smash the subscribe button. Talking about things that most people don't talk about, and I have no problem talking about it, believe me. And it's a lot of fun, so have a lot of fun on this channel. I welcome you if you're watching this video for the first time. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to Baseball Hut 3, and I'll see you later.